Sky News will be joining a British expedition to Antarctica to study ice cap melting and the threat of global warming to penguin colonies, amid warnings that 2020 is the world's last chance. The Environment Agency and Natural England says decisive action needs to be taken in the coming year or there'll be dire consequences.
It's not just because they huddle together by the thousand that makes penguins so hard to count. It's because they do so in the most remote places on the planet. Great swathes of Antarctica are too isolated even for a plane to reach. But now scientists are counting penguins from space. Satellite photos are so good, individual birds can be spotted against the ice. And they found there are twice as many penguins as they had once thought.
This used to be the second largest emperor penguin colony in the world.
But they're in trouble. Emperor penguins need sea ice to breed on, and it's melting as the world warms.
The places where emperor penguins can breed and successfully live will become smaller and smaller until maybe there won't be any left. There will still be some emperor penguins by the end of this century, in 80 years' time, but in most cases, by then, their populations are plummeting downwards. So how much longer they will survive after that depends very much on what we as a species do and how we change the climate over the coming decades.
Antarctica has lost 3 trillion tonnes of ice over the last 25 years. Half of that has been in the last 5. What happens to the rest is uncertain, and scientists are drilling deep into the ice sheet in the search of clues.
This sliver of ice comes from hundreds of metres below the surface, and it's trapped air bubbles from tens of thousands of years ago. It tells scientists something about the atmosphere in the distant past, but it also helps them understand where the planet might be heading in future.
When we're looking at an ice core, what we're doing is we're analysing it and we're going essentially back through time. So we've got the present and we're working backwards through time. And we can go back in the order of just a few decades with shallow cores, and potentially we can go back nearly 1 million years with the really deep records.
3 million years ago, greenhouse gas levels in the atmosphere were much the same as today, but the planet was 2 degrees warmer and sea levels 20 metres higher. It could once again be our destiny.
So Antarctica is our largest reservoir of fresh water. I mean, in a very unrealistic scenario, if you melted all of the whole of Antarctica, you'd be increasing sea levels by around 60 metres. Obviously, that's not likely to happen anytime in the near future, but it does have the potential to rise sea levels in the order of several metres in the sort of future warming scenario.
Sky News will join scientists from British Antarctic Survey on a 6-week mission to monitor the frozen continent. If greenhouse gas emissions continue to rise, the ripples from what's happening 10,000 miles away at the bottom of the planet will in time affect us all. Thomas Moore, Sky News.